And welcome back. Our third conversation for the morning, as I had mentioned prior to the commercial break, we're joined by Dr. Maxine Mckay for the Law Enforcement Torch Run, and she is the Vice President of the Special Olympics Committee. Good morning,
Good morning.
Dr.
Thank
Mckay.
you for having us.
We've also been joined by Corporal 1103, and I numbers attached to that.
Rick tonight.
1103 Aaron Ferguson, my good friend. He's the coordinator of the Law Enforcement Torch Run for the Belize Police Department. Good morning, folks.
Pleasant
good morning
Thank
to you, and pleasant good morning to Belize. Pleasure having us here.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
All right, let's talk about the Torch Run. Is this an annual event? Is this something that you've organized for the first time? What do we need to know about this particular activity?
Well, I'm the coordinator for the Law Enforcement Torch Run. The Law Enforcement Torch Run have been happening since the year 2012, but it's something that we definitely patterned from the North America Police Department in Kansas, whereby the police officers basically join partner with Special Olympic in raising fund and bringing awareness to persons with intellectual disability. So 7 years ago, we started, joining forces, and up to today, we have been going stronger than ever. So I must say congratulations to all our supporters out there who have been supporting the Law Enforcement Torch Run.
What does the participation of the police department to this venture mean?
Well, for Special Olympics, which is the branch for Belize, Special Olympics Belize, and just a brief history, Special Olympics has been established since 1968, and globally it's like over 5 million athletes and over 1 million volunteers. And Special Olympics relatively includes students with children and adults with intellectual disability. That simply means people who are progressively behind when it comes to reasoning, social skills, etc. And so collaboration with them is essential for us to, as Mr. Ferguson said, spread awareness across the community, help to build a healthy athlete, because the ultimate goal of Special Olympics is to build healthy athletes who have courage, who have strong morals, who have strong self-esteem. So with the collaboration, we help to extend our reach, because the police is pivotal. They lead the torch run, and they have specific stations across the 6 districts. And thus far for this year, we have 200 registered athletes and 80 volunteers. And we're excited about it, but it's more about the athlete. The center of Special Olympics is the athletes, and promoting their self-awareness and building, because inclusivity essentially means that they're a part of our community. They should not be left behind. And our motto is, let me win. If I cannot win, let me have the courage to win. And so that is what we want to promote.
It's an interesting pairing, though, that you'd have the police department and Special Olympics come together for this kind of an initiative.
Well, I believe the police department definitely buy in on such an initiative, because of it helps us build relationship. Not only with partnering with Special Olympics, but also within the law enforcement agencies. For this is a collective effort between the customs, immigration, fire department, and we even extending it as far as the correctional department this year. So, it builds that unity between the law enforcement agencies, and we find it very important, because also as police officers, we are putting ourselves out there to build a relationship with the community, and by people seeing that relationship building, definitely they support us more, because also of the initiative of helping, persons with that intellectual disability. So overwhelming the support, comes very easily whenever we are in that community. So it helps us a lot.
Corporal, there's an underlying religious aspect to this.
Underlying religious aspect.
Which is that the Bible says, as much as you do it to the least of the brethren.
Yes, sir. That you
and
do.
The parable of going for the last sheep, the one sheep leaving the herd and going for that one sheep who has gone astray. But I wanted you to talk about a little bit deeper into where we are, because there's a comparison to me between our society needs the police when we're vulnerable, when we're not at our optimum, when we're facing challenges that are more than we can.
Yes, sir.
And the police is a support force, a support group to help us to get past those vulnerabilities, whether it's intruding attackers or just to keep the peace.
Okay.
I want you to go further in speaking about the community relation and how much dependent the police are on everybody in our society, not only the members of Special Olympics, but to the overall society, and how you hope that this will show the human side of the police department?
Well, 99% of the information received by the police department is definitely from our community. Yes. So we are dependent largely on our relationship with our community. If we definitely cannot garner that relationship or gain that trust by our community, it's going to be a difficult task for us to police. So, you know, we are dependent largely on how the community definitely welcomes us and share information, and even to you know, how we relate to each other. So, you know, and as it relates to law enforcement, we definitely depending on the community as it relates to how they welcome us within their community, because the law enforcement you know, we definitely go across the districts in our country throughout the country of Belize. And also this year we're going to start in the north, then we're going to take it down to Belize, then we go to the Keys, and then you know, we go as far as Punta Gorda, where we're going to end the national games in Dangriga. So we are depending largely on our community to come out and support our law enforcement officers whenever you see within those communities.
Can I ask one follow-up question to
yes,
that,
sir,
which is, what is the impact on the camaraderie in the police department? Because I could imagine being a police officer, I can only imagine. Every day you come up against people who are complaining, they're in problems, they're cursing, they're going bad. And after a while you become fatigued and saturated with all this negativity.
Yes, sir.
What does this do in terms of looking at these children and these persons with diverse ability in order for in terms of the morale of the police department in a very difficult time? Well,
what this does as it relates to being a member of the police department, it builds you. You know, when you can go there and know that we can support, you know, kids and children, kids and adults with intellectual disability, and seeing the support that we have garnered from the community is definitely encourage you as a peacemaker, as a, you know, a person that you know are obligated to serve and protect. It helps you build that morale to go another milestone, to go next year or next two, to know that you know, because of what we are doing as a law officials, we are getting our support. And for myself as a coordinator, yearly as we go there to see that momentum and to see how encouraging the community support this program, being that the law officials are the leading you know, personnel with that towards run it definitely encourages you know, one individual, and not only the persons that are out there running the law enforcement towards run, but the entire police department and the by large the larger body as it relates to national security.
And for the kids, because I know, like when I was younger, man, I like say uniform pass, because men with the shiny thing there, and then this police is with me too. They run with me. What does it do for the children?
All right, it really builds their self-esteem. As I say, one of the ultimate goals of our mission is to build self-awareness, build self-esteem, and to let a child or an adult with an intellectual disability see beyond that inability that society has stigmatized, because it is a perception that we need to change, that having a disability is a sin or a crime. So we really see like that boost of self-esteem, and they want to go, they want to run, they want to play football alongside the police officers, and so that we can really see that momentum, that it helps to really build a lot of self-confidence in our athletes, and more so it helps them to see, as I said earlier, beyond that inability where they might lack the ability to reason, they lack the ability to socialize. It gives them that ability to see the police officer beyond what society has projected of the police officers. And I mean, I really get to see a different side of the officers as well, with them working alongside us, because society has this perception that they're rough on the edge, that they don't have empathy, that they don't have a human side, and the torch run allows us to see that human side.
Now, this has been in existence since 2012, as you mentioned. Is this an initiative that has grown year upon year? Is it at a point where perhaps it's plateauing and you have the buy-in of the public, but it's not necessarily taking off to another level? Where are we in terms of its growth over time?
Well,
go ahead.
Well, most definitely, as the year goes by, we definitely look as it relates to the growth. I have mentioned that this year we even gone as far as engaging the correctional facility. You know, and we even want to go as far as engaging the schools and other members of the community to be a part of this law enforcement torch run. Because of the initiative and, you know, behind it, we would want to get, you know, as most possible, the largest attendance as it relates to bringing that awareness. It's not a race, it's more than just the run. It's bringing that awareness and raising funds towards the initiative of assisting, you know, those persons with intellectual disability to you know, to further their capability as it relates to sports. So definitely we are seeing a growth as it relates to, you know, the law enforcement torch run as the year goes by. And this year we even try to incorporate on the business community. You know, we're having a launch that we're inviting the business community to be a part of and to pledge your donation towards the initiative. And also that throughout the year we can have sporting activity for those persons with the intellectual disability.
And that's my question. How do you contribute? What is the form of contribution and what is it used for?
Well, actually, the Special Olympics focuses on year-round athletic development and like screening, health screening, etc. So the funds generated are used for that, like to develop awareness with parents, how to work with parents and help parents understand the child's inability or ability. So really, and pretty much we get a lot of volunteers from the medical doctors who help us to test dental work, to see their motor skills, etc. So the funds are pretty much, because it's an NGO, right? We have to generate our own funds through writing grants, etc. And then the Ministry of Youth and Sports and Culture also assists us a lot, and the National Sports Council, and sponsorship like SMART, BL, BTL, WASA. Those organization corporate sponsors play a critical role in like promoting an event like this, because there's a lot of things that are needed. The police officers have to be hosted in hotels, and that generates a lot of expense. And so, but more focusing on the athlete and the material that they need, like the tennis shoe that they need and things to get the activities done. That is what the funds are used for, and to make sure the athlete is healthy and that they're engaged all year round, because it's not just like this event. They're always participating in district events, etc. That helps them to come to the national games.
It seems that the corporate citizens and the medical citizens are lifting their weight, and the police department are lifting their weight for persons with special needs. But how would you assess the contribution of the overall society? And I hope you're very, I know you're diplomatic here, well spoken, but sometimes the Cadre Royal have to come in. How are we treating persons who are different?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I think that in Belize we have a mindset where we tend to want to say that they're not a part of the society, and people tend to at times shun children with intellectual disability or disabilities on a whole. I mean, because they're not to be locked away. They're supposed to, our national constitution suggests that we're supposed to be inclusive of all, regardless of disability, gender, religious preferences, etc. But I would want to say that, like, when we have national games, if the public can come out more and support, let the children see their presence, I think that will add more to their self-esteem, right? It's not just an add-on or like a quick event. It's something that we need consistent support, whether they're in school or out of school or at these events. The public needs to be more present, and I think that is critical to the growth of the athletes.
Yes, you're very diplomatic. I like it.
Oh, she is.
But could you give us some details about you had already alluded to it in terms of going from district to district.
Yes,
give us more specific details as to how do we register to participate and what is the route?
Well, it's no registration to participate. Definitely, you know, whenever in your area of responsibility, prior to reaching your area of, you know, your community, the officers, the community policing officers from the different districts definitely sensitize the community as it relates to the LETR being in your area. We go as far as inviting schools, and you know, it's free of registration. And what we go about doing is that we hold basically a public togetherness, maybe at a park, or you know, to sensitize the community that we are in that area. So we will probably light the torch, the flame of torch, and we even sung off the sirens and do different things to tell the community that we are in this area and
create a hype,
yeah,
energy.
what we are here for. And basically, you know, the officers, they go from businesses to businesses, and even person by the sideway and byway, we take along a little container that we collect. If it's $1, it's a shilling, whatever you can give, we're definitely applaudable, and we
So what's the
appreciate
route?
that.
You start from
Corozal. This year,
Corozal.
every year we go at a different location. Last year it was held in Belize, Marion Jones. This year the national games is going to be held at the Carl Ramos Stadium in Dangriga. So we're going to start the route in the north, whereby we move on, along the route as it relates to probably
So
like a
from
Corozal, then we go Orange Walk. Then from Orange Walk we will definitely go to the Belize district. You know, from Belize north side, we go to the Keys, San Pedro. We stay there overnight in San Pedro. Then simultaneously, while San Pedro is happening the morning, we have the south side of Belize. So upon conclusion of the south side of Belize, we move on to Mckay, right? And
Cross country.
yeah, from Mckay we go to San Ignacio. Then we go to Belmopan, and then we jump on a bus and we go all the way to Punta Gorda. You know, from Punta Gorda we go to Mango Creek, and Mango Creek we go to Placencia, and then the last and final day, which is going to be the 6th of December, we have the conclusion of the Special Olympics National Games in Dangriga. So
Nice.
that's where we a 6 days tour.
And the torches run that entire distance?
Oh yes, it's not the entire distance. Let me correct that. But the torches carry, with those, in those municipalities, it's not a race, you know. So when sometimes we invite the general public, they say, how are we going to run all those roads? You know, they have a portion in Belize that, it's lone rainforest, bush and what have you. We just pass those, but whenever we reach a community, we're basically, infested and so on, we stop at those communities and, we share the awareness and bring the community together. So that's how it is. But we must say that we have been getting the support, hence the reason we are doing this media tour to sensitize our community that the law enforcement torch run is here again, and we would want to get your support once more, and even to a greater magnitude as it relates to how we contribute towards this initiative.
And there's more that can be done.
Yes,
Oh,
there's a
certainly.
lot
More.
more
A
that
lot
can
more.
be done.
Okay.
There's a lot more that can be done.
Any final words before you?
Well, we just want to encourage the public on Channel 5, of course. So we want to invite you along the route, and especially at the national games, to highlight our athletes, because as we said, Special Olympics is about our athletes. We're just mere volunteers, which is critical. And if you want to be a volunteer, you can always contact the national director, Mr. Michael Belize. He's stationed at Inspiration Center. And he has also been pivotal in organizing this event along with the police officers. So we want to encourage you to come out to watch the athletes, support the athletes, drop in even if it's $1 when you see them along the route.
You can afford more than that, man.
If you can afford more, but we saw like one penny fills, we will ultimately meet the goal. And just think about the person who you see, and not about their inability or abilities that you believe they do not possess, because sometimes it's perception. And we want to always include them in everything possible, and more so the athletic aspect of them, because the stronger they are physically and mentally, they become better citizens. And we just want the public to know that our key motto is let me win, but if I can't win, let me be brave in the attempt, right? So that is something that we want to leave with the public.
Awesome.
Well, on my conclusion, I would want to say condolence to the Martinez family. We have a loss within the Belize Police Department. I'd like to extend a heartfelt condolence to the Martinez family, and also to the members of Squad 86, and to the entire police department upon that loss of PC Martinez. So.
All right.
He gave his life, in service to country and community, and for that we are grateful. So condolence to the family.
All right, so that's a somber way of ending the final segment of our show this morning. So we also extend our condolence to the members of the police department as well. We're going to take our final commercial break. When we return, it's to wrap up the show this morning.